Hello and welcome to another Starfield episode here on the Mole RP channel. My name is ChaosMole and today we want to talk about the 5 things you should know about the release of Starfield. This can be that you're watching this a few weeks before the actual release, a few days, or even at the release itself or afterwards, and that information should still be mostly useful to you before you are jumping into the game. So let's get right to it, shall we? Number 1. There will be a head start period or early access period for Starfield. If you haven't heard about this, yes, if you are paying extra money to Bethesda, you will be actually able to play the game on September 1st instead of September 6th. And I can already see the question in your mind going, wait a minute, Mo, but the game will also be available on Game Pass. Does that mean that early access / head start will also be available on Game Pass? No. Or, well, kinda. So, first things first, no, it won't be available on Game Pass, but there will be ways how you can basically buy into the early access period even with your Game Pass version. How that exactly works and what you have to look out for, I have explained it in detail in the video you will find down below in the video description. You can just click on that and then you get all the information you need to enter the early access period / head start. They're calling it early access, but it's really just a head start period for the game. The second question I'm seeing quite a bit is, will this game be available to play or to be played in multiplayer / online co-op? And the answer to that is no. This is a full-on single-player game. There's no multiplayer, there's no co-op. I know a lot of people were interested in playing this in co-op, and well, they thought that because Fallout 76 was also online playable, something similar would happen with Starfield. The answer to that is no. Again, this is a purely Bethesda single-player game. Now, there might be a chance that after some time we might get some co-op component. Maybe Bethesda is putting that in themselves after a few DLCs because they're planning to actually release much more content over time for the game, as they have already announced. Or there might be a chance that we will see some modders who will actually put in co-op, because we have seen this with Skyrim. Yes, Skyrim is now completely playable in online co-op with, I think, up to 8 friends, I think it was. I don't know the exact numbers, but you can play the full game with other people, which is pretty impressive, but it also took them over 10 years to make it happen. So don't wait too long for that. Like, if you want to play Starfield with a friend or family member of yours, don't wait for that. It might never come. Speaking of mods, that brings us to the number 3. Will this game support mods? And well, I basically already answered that question. Yes, it's a Bethesda game. And for Bethesda, mods are absolutely important. For the player base, mods are absolutely important. And Bethesda has already announced that they have been working on the tools since Fallout 4. They have improved them. They made it easier for mod creators. And in general, mods will be a very important part of this game. And I said it in another video, I kind of assume that we will see some Star Trek or Star Wars mods 6 months after the release, the latest. And then we will see even more fantastic mods over time. And by the way, if you want to dream a little bit with me, like which mods will come to Starfield and what Bethesda can actually improve to make it easier for the user to install said mods, you also find another video of me down below in the video description where I talk about modding in Starfield. Now, this gets us to number 4, and this is a question I have seen from more old school players who were basically interested if Starfield is going more again into the RPG direction instead of just purely action. Especially Fallout 4 was more on the action side of things. Even Skyrim, in comparison to previous Bethesda games like Morrowind or Oblivion, was much more on the action side of things instead of the RPG side of things. And don't get me wrong, there's still enough RPG to go around in my opinion, but it was not as detailed as before. So people are a little bit concerned, how much RPG will they be in Starfield? So far they have just showed a lot of action sequences, but not necessarily too much of the RPG mechanics. And, well, the answer to that is a little bit difficult because nobody outside of Bethesda and Xbox has played the game till now, so nobody can really answer it. But good news, We saw some little trailers. We also saw some interviews with the developers where they actually talked about more RPG mechanics. And it really seems like that they are now going down the path of adding more of that. Let me just give you an example. You probably know the old mechanic of swaying somebody over on your side when you want to enter a room and they're like, hey, you cannot get in there. You don't have the permission to do so. In the previous Bethesda games, you did roll the dice, or, well, you just had to do like a check on your number, right? You needed like a 40 in charisma to get into the room. And if you didn't have that, well, sucks to be you, because you couldn't get in there. Or if you had enough points, you could just go in there. Now, in Starfield, they transformed it into a mini game. And what that means is you're not rolling the dice anymore. You're not just checking a stat anymore. What you're now doing is you have multiple rounds of answers you can give to the person, and every answer will create a number for you. And then at the end of those rounds, you have to reach a certain number threshold to then sway the person on your side. So let's say you're starting to sway a person, you need at least 40 points, and number A gives you 6 points, number B gives you 12 points, and so on and so forth. Then the next round starts, where number A again gives you 8 points, number B gives you 20 points, and so on and so forth. And depending on how good your stats are, the more answers you have with higher points, and the higher is the chance that you can reach that threshold you need to sway the person on your side, right? So it seems like as if Bethesda is actually going down the route of just giving you more RPG elements. But again, we have to wait till the game is coming out, till I can give you a fully satisfying answer to that. Number 5, and this is a big one. It's the last one, but it's also the biggest one, and that is exploration. People are absolutely hyped about the exploration in Starfield. And believe me, I am too. I don't even know where I want to go first. I don't know like which planets I want to visit or which cities I want to visit. Let me, by the way, know in the comments down below where you want to go first the moment you get your ship and you can just fly around. But let's talk about exploration here, because people have a misunderstanding how the exploration works in this game. There are actually quite a bit of people who still believe that the exploration in Starfield will kind of work like a No Man's Sky, where you can just fly around with your ship, dive into the atmosphere of a planet, and then fly around on the planet till you find an interesting landing spot where you then can land and then just explore the area. That is not how Starfield works. Starfield, unfortunately, does it very simple. You are in your ship, in space, you go to a planet, then you go to the star map, you choose a landing spot on that planet, on the star map, you will see a quick loading sequence, which is like an animation, which plays that you are landing on the planet, and then your ship lands there, and that's it. There's no flying around, nothing. There are not even vehicles in the game. So if you are landing on a huge planet and you don't know where to go, you have to walk around or find ways on how to figure out where to go in the first place. But yeah, there will also be no vehicles you can utilize. Now, with that said, there is a pretty high chance that in the end there will be an expansion which will add vehicles, or there will be mods. I'm pretty sure there will be some quick mods which will give you a one-wheeler or something like that, that you can just zoom around the planet super quickly. Or maybe like later on there will be mods which will allow you to just fly around on the planet, right? Who knows? But when the game is coming out, those are the restrictions which apply, and you cannot just fly around on the planet, which is of course a little bit unfortunate, but Bethesda decided that that is the way they want to go. But with that said, we are already at the end of the video. Please don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Starfield videos. For now, we are releasing one Starfield video once per week, and we will definitely crank it up the closer we are getting to the game's release. There will also be a full playthrough of me on my live stream, which you can find the link in the video description. We are also doing a Diablo podcast here and everything which is really all around RPGs. So if you're interested in RPGs, you came to the right place. Again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.